closet, in the closet.
Okay, we're not going to lie and say that this is like the fifth
This
time.
is not the fifth time we've tried to record this.
No, this is not the fifth time I try to record this. Anyway, welcome back to Gossip in
Welcome
the
back.
Closet. This is episode, I don't know.
Right, yeah.
What episode
Get rid
is
of
it?
that bit.
Forget that. But anyway, we are back with a sign says Gossip in the Closet. If you didn't realise, we do not have a wide shot, do we?
We don't have a wide anymore, so yeah, we are
Enjoy our individual videos of us.
of us.
Okay.
We have decided to start recording from our living room. This is our new studio.
This is our new studio. We've got a pink and green
Pink
sort
and
of
green
vibes
vibe.
going on.
We've rebranded.
We've rebranded a bit. We've revamped. We wanted a fresh start. Basically, we wanted something that was more convenient than going to the studio. And I had Mia doing her errands, which she, just about did. Didn't you, Mia?
And I did a great job.
Did
Are
you?
you mad? Everything that we have in this studio, the light, everything, I have got out on my own and purchased.
Actually, this mic, I got myself.
Okay, you got the mic yourself,
Yeah.
but come on. I mean, honestly, I think that we should celebrate we should celebrate me in this moment.
All right, well, round of bloody claws. My God.
Round
Do you
of
know what
applause.
do you know what it is?
I know.
It's that she even said to me last night she does the bare minimum for this podcast.
I'm
No,
aware
she's
of my
a sayer.
limitations.
She's a sayer, not a doer. And then she gives me a load of shit, really, isn't it?
I honestly feel like there is some backed up therapy sessions that we need to do.
Absolutely, I would agree,
But
honey.
I mean, come on, let's be real. I got all the equipment on my own.
Yeah.
Like, granted, you told me what to get, but I believe that everything, fingers crossed, is working because we have obviously tried to record this
A few
many
times,
times.
yes.
But trial and error, we are getting there slowly but surely, and we are confident that we're going to be able to bring out episodes that are longer in the future.
Yes, yeah.
It's way more convenient for us because we don't have to do commuting. Also, we don't have to pay a fortune just for an hour. And we've also now got the equipment which is portable, which
And
means that we
also,
can be
it's
anywhere.
great skills to, acquire, I would say.
This is a great thing. I'm super excited. I actually really love the sign. I think it looks
I
wicked.
fucking love the sign.
And I love the new colour scheme, like the pink and the
which
green.
is
I
obviously
think
all of me. It's all of me. Taken. We love to compete.
yes,
Yeah,
I think that we do a little bit.
we do love to compete, and we like to blame.
I would like to say something. So basically, because you have been getting really upset because I generally feel like we should work as a team and you don't believe in working as a team.
This is absolute bullshit. I'm not going to accept this narrative anymore that you keep banging on about.
Okay, but I just want to tell you that I've found a solution. So
Well, okay, yeah, you're going to tell me about the solution, then go on.
if I can get there, it would be bloody great.
Go on,
sometime
go
today.
there then today,
Yeah,
not tomorrow.
thank you very much. Goodness me. So, I recently discovered ChatGPT. Now, I know that obviously ChatGPT has existed for a while.
Is it ChatGPT?
Yeah. I also
Not ChatGPT?
I don't know. I'm dyslexic. I'm not always confident in terms of letters. But
Right.
what I will say is I generally believe that I am a millennial. I know I'm on the cusp. I'm 28 years old, born in 1997 for anyone that is into all of that stuff. But basically,
Into what? Knowing your date of birth?
no, understanding what generation we are. Like there's Gen Z and the millennials, right?
Yes.
Now
And we're on the cusp.
Gen Z, I believe, use ChatGPT for their homework, and I believe that they Google a lot of stuff.
Yes,
and
they do.
back in my day, you
Back in your
read
day.
a textbook or you ask your teacher, whatever, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Now-
it's true.
I have actually found, weirdly enough, that I tend to mull over stuff that I don't know. So if I don't know something, I'm like, I've never done it before and I don't know how to do that. Or I'll just my first point of call won't be the internet. I won't the first thing I'll do is not be ask ChatGPT. Anyway, I've recently downloaded the app. I've got this lady. I think she's got a British accent, like an international British accent.
I don't know if it's British. Or maybe
She sounds like she moved abroad.
British.
And then she went to an international school, but she's from Britain. That's what she sounds
She
like.
sounds cute. I like her.
Right. And then, there are AI girlfriends out there. I don't know if I should suggest that to you, but
I've got a real life girlfriend, but thank you very
so
much.
do many men, and they also have AI girlfriends, apparently, I've heard.
Yes.
Anyway, point is, I have recently downloaded the app and I am now speaking to her. I think that this would be really good for our relationship because now you're not going to get upset with me for asking you questions. I will just
do
ask
not
her.
get upset if you ask me a question, Mia. What I get upset is getting 10 voice notes when I'm on shift and I work in.
I'm going to ask ChatGPT now anyway. GPT.
Yeah.
So you ain't got to worry about me calling you at work. Or
It's
messaging you at
using your
work.
initiative is what I would say sometimes Mia lacks. And I know that sounds harsh to say, but like we are working in business together and that means I have to call you out on it. And the fact is you don't know how to use your initiative. Anyway, less of that talk. Let's go into gossip of the week because that is the most important thing. And this week we're talking all about, we're talking all about sex.
Gossip of the week.
Yeah, and I know that's going to be a bit uncomfortable because for some reason, me and you have a weird thing that we just hate talking about sex with each other. Well, we always have.
I don't know if it's just normal for sisters just to not really engage in that
I don't know. I
conversation.
think, well, maybe you're quite right.
Yeah.
Because I do think there is like a sibling weird stuff about that. But we're not going to go into deep into our own sex lives. I don't think that's needed. We will just talk a little bit about lesbian sex, our perception on it, all of the weird, complicated questions that you may get as a lesbian and things that you figure out yourself as well, I think. Because let's be honest, when you're first starting out as a lesbian, how crazy. No, when you're first exploring your sexuality and you're a lesbian and you're very confident in that, I do think I don't know, when you're younger, do you not think there's this thing where people say to you a lot like, oh, how many people have you done stuff with and how many people have you had sex with? Obviously, that is not a question that you ask anymore at my age. Those questions stopped being asked. But I do think in our early 20s, or just before, there's always conversations like this, isn't it, when you're young?
I guess as a woman loving woman, I think that there is a conversation about what is sex because as heterosexual people would demonstrate that as penetration, obviously would say that's penetration. My personal opinion, and I believe that now actually specifically in the woke generation, I believe that we are more open to the idea that
in the woke generation,
we are
hate
woke
that word.
generation. Why do you hate
Because
the word
I think
woke?
it's derogatory.
But it's not derogatory. We need to own it. It is woke. Woke is to be awake, is to be aware. That's what it means. Other people use it as like a criticism. It's not a criticism. I don't care. I am woke. And what I will say on that is I believe that yes, people do ask, well, what is sex? What does it mean if you have sex? Is it if you've gone all the way? Is it if you were completely naked? Is it if you were both in bed sweating for half an hour? Who knows what? Do you know what I mean?
Well, no, it was a big question. And I used to think to myself, what is sex as a lesbian, blah, blah, blah. Which I hated that because I used to think, obviously I used to get really uncomfortable with that because it basically diminishes your sexual experience and basically saying that unless it's between a man and a woman, it doesn't count as sex, which used to really piss me off. But I do think it was a question that, that is different to everybody. And I think everyone would have a different answer to what they consider to be sexual intercourse.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, sexual acts go from kissing to touching to any.
Yeah, but you're not going to kiss someone on
somebody,
on a date and be like, I had sex because you didn't.
Yeah, I
Did
get what
you?
you're saying. I get what you're saying.
So there are levels to it. Let's be honest.
Quite right. Yeah, quite
yeah.
right. Yeah. So then begs the question.
Yeah.
What would you consider lesbian sex?
So I think lesbian sex is when you are in bed together.
I don't want to talk about.
You're weird. You're really weird, and it's very uncomfortable. Okay, it's really uncomfortable. Let's not make it weird.
Okay.
Sex is when you're naked in bed together. You are 28 years old. You mustn't laugh like this. What is wrong with you? Anyway, having sex as a lesbian couple is when you feel you've had sex. By the way, sex is whatever you want it to be and whatever you consider sex to be. However, I would consider it as two people in bed together, naked, not even in bed. You don't have to be in bed. You could be on the street if you really wanted to. People love a bit of public sex.
I actually think that's legal, so let's just be careful there.
I don't care if it's not legal or not. People have sex in public. That's normal.
Yeah.
People, not normal, obviously don't do it in the supermarket. That will be crazy. Yeah, sex is whatever you want sex to be, in my opinion. But for me, it is being naked in bed together with another woman. And, you know, I used to say that it's only if, you know, someone was to orgasm, basically. But obviously, I don't believe that. Actually, I think that you can have sex without an orgasm, which obviously I don't recommend.
Okay, but it is about enjoying the experience regardless of the outcome at the end of the day.
Oh, right.
I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also agree. I think it's what feels like you've come away from something and you feel like you've had sex.
Yeah,
And
so a lot of time, be like, oh my God, did she finger you? And it's like, well, but it's like, yeah, like she did, but that isn't sex. Like if you get fingered in, like, you know, your car,
that is a sexual act.
it is a sexual act. But I think back when you were younger, it would be like, oh well.
Also, I mean, come on, what does it matter? All that matters. What does it matter? And I think it's also like a numbers game. Like, oh, then I'm going to count how many sexual partners I have. Listen, as long as you're having safe sex, as long as you're having sex with people that you are obviously want to have sex with and that you trust, then I don't think that it needs to be a numbers game, even so, to be honest.
Well, it doesn't need to be a numbers game, and it doesn't need to be a clarification on exactly what acts were performed in this, you know, so-called sex. And it's not sex if, you know, penetration didn't happen, blah, blah, because we're in a heteronormative, you know, mindset, which is...
Right, exactly. And I have a question. Obviously, it is a little bit awkward to talk about this with you.
Is it?
Well, it's awkward a little bit.
Go on then, just say it.
People say that scissoring isn't a thing.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It is a thing. And if you are an actual lesbian, I think you know that. And do you know what I find
Why
weird
do people
as well?
say it's not?
Even when I watch like comedian shows, I've been watching comedian shows or whatever, and then you know, it's always, oh, are you two fingering? Are you two scissoring? And it's like, and then they're like, no. See, they always ask in a comedy show or something like that. I've been watching. Yeah, is scissoring real?
But people are saying that it's not.
Yeah,
it's very real.
Scissoring is real, and I shouldn't have to tell you how to do that.
Well, we shouldn't have to tell other lesbians that scissoring is a thing. What?
Yeah.
I'm confused by it.
And also, if you don't know how to do it, that is also weird, how you don't know how to do it. And obviously, no, you're not doing heads and tails and, you know, just grinding like this.
You can. It would work.
But people don't be doing that, I don't think.
People can be doing what they want to be doing. I just think, why reject the notion of scissoring when it's definitely a thing?
It's definitely a thing. 110% a thing.
I would like to move on now.
Okay. I'd like to move on to top and bottoms. Now, in the gay community, top and bottoms is a big, big thing. I don't think it exists in heteronormative relationships, does it?
I believe it probably does.
Okay. Well, I know, you know, if you consider it as a dominant or a submissive. However, when it comes to men, gay men on gay sex with with man and man, it obviously, it's really obvious who the top and bottom is. Well, it's not really obvious who the top and bottom is, but we know what a top is and what a bottom is.
Yes.
However, I was going to ask the question to you, if you understand this. First of all, is, you know, obviously sexual compatibility and all of this malarkey-barkey. Do you think when gay men have sex, when gay men go on a date together, do you think they know?
Yeah, I think they have a conversation. I think they probably have that conversation quite early on about who is the top, who is the bottom. Are they switches? Because I believe there probably is switches out there, and there has to be a compatibility there. Sure.
Continue. So you think that they have a so if someone was a dead, because there's people that are like, just I would only do top, and some people that I would only do bottom.
Yeah.
So if you fully fall for this person, that's it then. It's not going to work.
I don't know if
of that
I'm not a gay man.
technicality.
All I know is that they probably have this conversation really, really early on and establish that before they fall for each other.
Yeah, because what if you really fancy each other, you're on a night out, whatever, and then it's like you get to the bedroom, you're like, I don't think so.
I don't think they would go to the bedroom without having that discussion.
Really?
No.
People don't like to talk about sex. Not everyone likes to talk about sex. They
Yeah,
just
but
do
I
the
think in the
act
gay
and they
men
don't.
community, like it is like really not that taboo at all. I think they're quite open about it.
I know, but there are people that are just coming out that aren't as confident as being gay, or there's closeted men who
It's
probably
hard for
don't
us
have
to
those
talk about that
conversations.
on a little lesbian podcast because I don't know.
Okay, well, switching it gears then and going into lesbian, there are top and bottoms for lesbians, right? Because
Yeah.
people do be asking these questions like, are you a top or you're a bottom, even as a lesbian? And I know some straight people have had these questions like, well, how does it work? You know, we understand the concept of a top and a bottom as a man,
Well, listen,
as
if
gay and
you're if
gay,
you're
gay
if
and gay
you're a
men.
lesbian and you're more dominant, that means that you prefer giving than taking, and therefore there could be the other way around where you prefer receiving than giving, then I would say that that's a top or bottom. A lot of lesbians, I believe, are relatively switch, or that there's a percentage like a 70-30 kind of vibe. That's kind of always been my experiences. But yeah, I don't think it's as obviously exclusive as it would be for men due to the way that they obviously have sexual intercourse.
Yeah, but I do think you're right. I do think that a lot of and I also do think that there are a lot of women that are very much exclusively like, I don't want to receive.
That's like touch me not. I've not come across a lot of
I've never
touch
heard
me
of
nots.
well, yeah, but it's not your type really, because it is that stereotype that, you know, a touch me not would be more of a masculine presented person and a feminine person would be more of a receiver.
That's
Isn't that weird?
absolutely stereotypical. Yeah,
It's very stereotypical, but it tends to run true,
yeah, for
doesn't
sure.
it?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
masculine traits have certain like masculine behaviors, don't they?
Well, exactly.
The same with feminine.
Yeah. But
It's
that
not
must be
something that
awkward
I
in
would.
in a relationship though, if you come across these issues where someone is like, I don't really like receiving that much, but someone is like, oh, I like doing both. That could be an issue.
Yeah, 100%. I believe it probably is an issue for sure. I mean, I definitely have had my personal experiences where there's conversations that needs to be had about like what is the dynamic in that sense, and what do you prefer and what don't you prefer.
I know, because I remember once that I near enough had a fight with someone.
What?
Well, it just felt like a very big power struggle, and we were both trying to dominate the other one, and quite frankly, it ended up just not being a fun experience. And I was like, do you know what? This ain't gonna work today. Like, let's just cut it out.
So yeah, dynamics in lesbian sexual relationships are pretty much there, and conversations need to be had. Talk about conversations as women. I believe that we do talk a lot more than men do. Due
Well,
to societal situations, which, by the way, just mean that women are encouraged to talk a lot more and be open with their emotions.
Yeah, although I do think that is changing on the grapevine, to be honest. And men are
Hopefully.
being more emotional and stuff.
Yeah, for
But
sure. And we need to keep pushing that narrative.
yeah.
The reason I bring that up is because there is a statistical, and I don't know where you can find this, guys, so you probably have to have a look online. But what I would say is statistically,
Yeah.
same-sex relationships in women tend to get divorced quicker than any other, like I think gay men, and quicker than heteronormative relationships.
I'm quite shocked at that statistic, to be honest. I didn't think that that would be the case.
Well, my conclusion to that would be that we are more likely to communicate. And if you're communicating with your partner constantly, I think you would come to terms quicker with the fact that the relationship is ending and that there is no longer a need to carry on, right? Because you would have spoken through everything quicker. You may have got help sooner. You may have gone to therapy.
Yeah.
You may have had conversations multiple times about what's happening. And then you may have even aired out issues that you have in the relationship. So, for example, in a heteronormative relationship, I don't know what happens because I've never been in one. But what I will say is, from my observation, I believe that a woman could probably sit in a relationship for quite a few years unsatisfied and really not really say much. And I also think that men are the same. And I think that's because um there's a communication issue there, but men maybe aren't as expressive, and the woman may not feel that they can express their emotions as freely as they would with another woman. And therefore, you may be sitting in a marriage for a lot longer, unsatisfied, albeit, but therefore you wouldn't
Okay, what about
divorce.
gay men?
I think that gay men are more open to open relationships. So that might be a reason that they survive a marriage longer, because they would have agreed that there's a problem in the relationship and they would have solved it that way. I also believe that men generally in society do not talk as much, and so they may not have that open communication as much. Um, and yeah, I generally believe that they may find solutions easier in that way, whereas I think women would speak more and end the
I think
relationship.
men can sometimes be a little bit more, simplistic in their like resolutions, really. Whereas women will talk and talk and talk. Not all women, but most women are more emotional beings. They really wear their like heart on the sleeve. And to be honest, like you need to be able to communicate, but communicate effectively. And that is the biggest thing. Is that you could communicate till the cows come home, and sometimes you can over communicate and over stress, and you have no resolution to the problem. What I do think sometimes potentially with maybe gay, like a man and man relationship, is that they potentially want to get over it really quickly. Whereas I do think women will ponder more. I don't know, it's not always the case. And like I
I
said so
think
many
what
times,
you're
but
describing there is that men may be for whatever reason understand the need to keep some things to yourself, whereas we can only over communicate, and some things are just actually best left unsaid. Like, I don't need to know absolutely every intrusive thought that you have, or I probably don't need to know every time you've doubted the relationship, because
oh
that's
my God,
going
no.
to affect me, and I'm then going to hold on to that, when realistically you maybe doubting the relationship once in a while
Well, that's
is
called
completely normal.
selective disclosure.
Exactly
You
what Paul
don't
Watts
always
talks
have,
about.
yeah, Paul Bronson spoke about this. Was it Paul Bronson that spoke about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, selective disclosure. You do not have to just you do not have to disclose everything to your relationship. Yes, you should disclose if you do cheat, if you are going to leave the relationship, or you're going to go on a crazy night out and have sex with someone else or kiss someone else. Yes, you should disclose if you are texting someone you shouldn't be texting. All of these things. However, you don't need to disclose if someone tried to flirt with you and you didn't flirt back, or you shut it down immediately and it meant nothing. Potentially could be easier, especially if your like partner is maybe a bit
Anxious.
anxious or more jealous. It is best sometimes not to say anything, I believe, if it means nothing.
Also, we
If you
don't
have
need to disclose every single thought that we have in our brain.
no, because we are very complex human beings, and we're trying to figure out what we think ourselves. We don't need our partner to decipher through their own thoughts and our thoughts at every given time. That is not okay. But anyway, I would say not only is that the issue, in my opinion, is to understand this statistic. I would potentially say that maybe because lesbians lean on each other a lot more, we entangle our lives more, we entangle our friendships more. Whereas I think men and women have more of a separate, maybe individualized life, which could potentially be sometimes healthy in a relationship to have your own identity. And I'm not saying that all lesbian relationships are like that, but I understand the statistic is because from experience, we do tend to intertwine our lives to a different degree. Whereas I think that heteronormative relationship,
Yeah.
heteronormative, is that the right word?
Yeah.
Heterosexual relationship, not heteronormative.
Same.
Heterosexual relation, no, heterosexual normative would mean like a perspective.
It's the same thing. We're
Anyway,
alluding to the same thing.
straight couples, they have their own friends. They can, when you need to rant to someone that is on your side, or that is, separate from, your partner, it's quite nice to have a separate friendship group, or quite nice to have your little girly, or a separation from that, to be able to enjoy your individuality as a person instead of being this duo consistently. Now, me and you as twin sisters have lived in duo life for a
Lifestyle.
very fucking
Yeah.
long time. So we we tend to lean on that even more.
We tend to fall into those
Yeah,
ideas
those
of duality.
ideas of duality. And also, can I say that I think gay men, because they are, I think they're less anxious, more go with the flowy, potentially, not all men, but a lot of gay men, yeah, they are. I do think that they
I
don't
think that-
entangle their life as much
Yeah.
as lesbians do.
Maybe. I'm not too sure on that one. Yeah, so I think that a lot of the relationships also could fail because of sex, which is the topic of this podcast, obviously.
Yeah.
And talk about communication and sex. You need to communicate if you're having sex with somebody.
I think that's also a big issue. I think a lot of people don't communicate about sex. Like, it's a very taboo conversation. Like,
it can
topic.
be taboo. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be something that you're doing, but you're not actually talking about doing.
Yeah. I was watching this series called Parenthood recently, and in one of the episodes, basically, he basically says, what, you sometimes fake it. And because she was like offloading onto someone else, and she admitted, I have offloaded onto this woman about our sex life, so on and so forth. And I feel like, and he was basically saying, I can't believe that you fake it. And then he confided in his sister, who was like, don't make this awkward, whoever fakes it. And then at first she was like, no, because I know like how to have good sex or whatever, like winding him up. And then he like felt bad, and she was like, if someone has faked it in your life, if you are bringing this up for a reason, people do fake it, women do fake it, and it's not because she was basically saying, take it as a positive. It's like, good job, better luck next time. It's not a negative. And that's the point. The point is that because you don't want to hurt someone else's feelings, basically, the reason she never says, hey, by the way, I faked it, which I don't think you need to tell everyone every single time you faked it, because it's not faking it. It's like you said, you can enjoy the moment, but the outcome isn't important. Sometimes, you're not always, your body is just saying,
yeah, I
not
know,
today.
but I think more to the point, if you don't like it or you're not enjoying it, tell your partner. Like, you need to be open with you don't want to be, I know some people think, oh, it's probably easier or whatever, and whatever, it's completely up to you. It's what you're comfortable with. But if you have told your partner no, they should respect that, regardless of how many times you've been with them, and regardless if you're in a relationship or not in a relationship. I just think it is really, really important that, like, obviously, if your partner's like not wanting to or saying no, like, then don't continue
Don't
do
continue
not
doing
pressure
it. And I
them.
think that is the biggest thing as well in relationships, and why they end is because you are not you are too scared to tell your partner you don't fucking like it. And if you don't like it, that's part of consent. Hello?
Yeah.
Like, say no. And even if you are in a relationship, doesn't mean they have access to all of you at all times, at every single second of the day.
Such
Say
a good
no.
point. Say no. And if you say no, your partner should not make you feel guilty or guilt trip you into doing something that you don't want to do. Like, for example, if you have a partner out there that has said no to you, make sure that you're listening to them and that you've honored that and you've respected them in that moment, regardless of how long you've been with
and it
them.
doesn't mean they don't want to be with you. They like multiple reasons why they said no, but there might be just a certain act that they don't actually fucking like.
Or they just might be absolutely knackered and not in the mood. Like,
That's true.
Leave it where it is. Like, whatever their reasoning, even if there was no reason on the planet, right there in the moment, they just did not want to do anything sexual in that moment, or one thing sexual in the moment, or multiple, whatever. Regardless, if you've known that person for 1 second or 100 seconds or 100 years, which, well done. Yeah, no means no.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, listen, thank you so much. We hope you've enjoyed. We really enjoyed this. This is the first episode at home.
If you guys want to be involved in our episode next week, all you have to do is email us at gossipinthecloset97@gmail.com, where you can send in your queries. Now, we take any types of queries. This is relationship dilemmas that you are having. Are you dating someone that you don't know if they like you back? Are you having sex with someone and you're not understanding why they're making that noise? I don't know what your issues are. Send them in. We will talk all about what we think about it, and hope it helps.
Absolutely.
You know
and
what
it
I
could
mean?
be an issue with a flatmate. It could be something around your parents coming out. It could be literally anything. Or did your mother find a vibrator and do bed. Who knows, right?
Who knows? Just write in, let us know. And yeah, if you really enjoyed this episode, please share it. Please like it. Send it to all your gay friends. And we hope to hear from you guys very soon.
If you're on YouTube, please press the subscribe button or follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And please visit us on Instagram and TikTok and follow us there, please.
And Snapchat.
Gossip in the closet.